Some people are looking for money to handle their various projects or satisfy their various desires, whereas others would like to venture into the financial space. On Women in Business today, we focus on the credit-only financial institution, how it's run, and what to do should you be interested to venture in as an entrepreneur. Can you provide an overview into a credit-only financial institution and how does it work?
When we look at credit-only financial institution, we are in one side of financial intermediation. What we offer is loans only. We do not mobilize deposits. I will differentiate that from banks where they do mobilize deposit as well as they do the lending. Ours, we are just on one side of financial intermediation, which is the credit part. In terms of getting to this business, it starts with the passion. You must be willing and you must love to do this kind of business because that's where the conversation begins. Number two, you must decide what problem will you be solving, in which sector. For instance, if it's health sector, you must understand that health sector, know the challenges that faces that sector for you to be relevant in terms of go-to-market strategy. In case of traders, what challenges do they face that you'll be able to come in and give a value proposition?
Could you please tell us about some of the key products and services that a credit-only financial institution could offer to the various sectors?
For one wanting to get in this line of business, what opportunities are there, for instance, in the marketplace? In case of agribusiness space, one want to export avocados, then those people would need money to finance that initiative. In case one wants to buy assets like motor vehicles, then one can position themselves to provide asset financing. When it comes to manufacturing space, what are the challenges there? It could be one needs motor vehicles for field staff, then one can be able to finance that. It could be cash flow challenge, especially if they are trending on credit. So to mitigate that, then there are opportunities. So I would say one needs to evaluate the various sectors to see are there opportunities for them and have a value proposition. When we look at transport space, again, border financing, that's again a huge opportunity. But one must be clear in terms of which niche market does one really want to focus and be relevant in that particular sector.
When it comes to determining credit worthiness, how should an entrepreneur go through or go about the assessment process before lending out money?
Number one, you look at the purpose. What's the purpose of the money? It has to be a legitimate purpose. For example, you can't lend money for a deal of corruption. So we are guided by the purpose. Number two, we look at the credit worthiness. What does that mean? We look, do you have skin in the game, for instance? Are you making a contribution towards the project that you want to undertake? We also look at collaterals depending on the amounts involved. What collateral is one willing to provide? So in addition to the character of the person, and that is what becomes the fundamental of lending, because if the character is not okay, then we are not able to go ahead, because you know very well that loan eventually will be defaulted. Yeah.
What role does financial literacy play in this space?
Over and above providing the loan products to the clients, a financial institution needs to invest time in the advisory services. And why is that important? You may find a client and the debtors list is very huge. So instead of just looking at, let me finance because you want to have the business, it's going to look at sustainability. When you offer such advice to the client, they are able to check on their processes, they are able to demand for payment from their debtors on timely basis, and that way you're likely to remain in the marketplace for a long time.
How do you handle loan defaults to ensure sustainability of your business?
To calm the issue of default, we always look at case-by-case basis. I will give an example of education sector, which is an area that we focus on, is that during COVID, no schools were opened. And what that meant, the school owners who income was fully from the school, it meant that they cannot repay. And what we did was to restructure the loans to be paid when the schools actually reopened. So it's case by case basis. In case of cases like you couldn't experience fraud, and at times it happens, you have to have clear paperwork in terms of the contract signed so that you are able to go to court and be able to win the case. And contracts are very, very important. The letter of offer has the customer side, have they agreed? Yeah, so those are some of the instances where default could happen, yes, but to mitigate that, appraisal system needs to be done very well. You need to check all your lending criteria in terms of the capacity, the character, and all that to ensure that you're dealing with the right person. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges in the credit-only financial space, and also how does one overcome them?
One, the government delayed payments. That again affects our cash flow. And number two, if you don't evaluate your credit, if you don't do good credit appraisal, it will mean that you stand a chance of getting fraudsters in the system. So that can be a big challenge also. But through watertight appraisal system, we are able to mitigate some of that risk of fraud. However, for government, that is still a challenge, but we hope that things can change. Commitment is one of them. Number two, you must be willing to invest in the team in terms of training for their own personal development. You must create an enabling environment for the team to work and thrive. Take care of your suppliers, pay them on time, and they'll support your business. And lastly, network to grow your business.